on the Brown Bears Sports Network. From Learfield, this is the Brown Bears Football Report with head coach James Perry. Brought to you by BSN Sports. Coca-Cola, there's magic when we cheer together. Courtyard Marriott, Providence Downtown. And by University Orthopedics. This is the Brown Bears Football Report with head coach James Perry. Now, here is your host, Scott Cordischi.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another season of the James Perry Show here on the Learfield Varsity Network. Scott Cordischi with you. Happy to be joined by the head coach of the Bears, James Perry, and we are going to bring him in just a moment. But I want to tell you that our first show, live on location, is broadcasting from Flatbread Company. Since 1998, Flatbread Company has been introducing people to the magic of earth and fire and how that combination can produce incredible tasting pizza. Flatbread Pizza, proud partners and proud supporters of Brown Athletics and the Brown Bears. And with that, let's say hello to the head coach of the Bears, James Perry. Coach, how you doing?
Doing great, Scott. Thanks.
Well, it's great to be with you once again. Boy, you know, life as an Ivy League player and coach, it just seems like forever to get that first game, right? Game week here, because everybody else has been playing for a few weeks in college football. Finally, we can say it's game week, and the Bears open up the season on Saturday.
Yep, the best time of year. The last weekend, you know, when we're watching on TV, everybody else play. I know the kids are like caged animals, so we're excited to finally get going on Saturday, and they've practiced very well.
Can't wait. The Bears host the Georgetown Hoyas Saturday at 12 noon at Brown Stadium. And, of course, we'll have that game for you right here on the Learfield Varsity Network. It will be televised as well on ESPN+. Coach, let's take a trip back to last year. Just quickly recap what happened. A 3-7 finish to the season. Got off to a nice start. In fact, you beat these Georgetown Hoyas down in D.C., and then you follow that up with an exciting win at home in front of a big crowd against the Harvard Crimson. And then, some struggles ensued. Look, I know one thing that you don't like to talk about in season, and number two, one thing that you don't like to do is make excuses, but I can't help but think that, there were some injury issues. Like, for instance, Jake Wilcox, he hurt his non-throwing shoulder, and I kind of feel like that was one thing that may have contributed to maybe last year's team not reaching its potential.
Yeah, I mean, there's always ways that you can look at it, and one of the things that we're trying to do this year is we're sitting there after, week 6, a great win against Cornell. Hit a beautiful field goal by Chris there, and to win that game. And how can we take those events, do similarly well at the beginning, hopefully better, and just make sure that we play our best football towards the end of the season? Because I did not think we played our best football at the end of last season, and it was a good group of kids. There's a great leadership on that team. But what can we do differently? And it starts with me. So there are ways that we're doing things differently, even training camp a little bit differently, so that we, for 10 weeks in the 10-week sprint that we're in, play our best football at the end.
So one thing you did, Coach, is you added some new coaches to the staff, and we could talk about some of them individually if you want, but Patrick Murphy, tight end, special teams, Mitchell Jonke, a Brown football alum, coaching quarterbacks, Andrew Briner, coaching wide receivers, and on the defensive end, Dan Mulrooney, your defensive coordinator, inside linebackers coach, and Brian Murray, your outside linebackers coach. So, I've been to a few of your practices, and I love the energy I'm seeing from those guys and from everybody. But, in particular, I look at the defense and how these young men have responded to Coach Mulrooney and his new system and way of doing things, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, we talk about shocking the system in 2025, and that takes a lot of different forms in the locker room. And, one of the ways that it does express itself is having a new defense. Dan is a tremendous resource for me. He was a head coach prior to coming here. I'm really lucky right now. Pat, Dan, and Andrew were all head coaches, so a lot of good information for me to absorb and things that we can do differently. And one of the most notable things this year is a totally different scheme defensively. So Dan is a terrific football coach. He's an incredible motivator. We're seeing it at practice. These guys are doing a terrific job, and I'm excited to see what they do on Saturday.
Coach, let's talk about maybe some of the faces and names that Brown fans can expect to see on Saturday, and I think you return, if I'm not mistaken, 4 starters on offense, 5 on the defensive side of the football. So a good mix of returning guys and some guys that weren't starters that got experience, and maybe some new faces that we'll be seeing. Let's start on the offensive side of the football. You will have a new quarterback. We saw him briefly last year in some games. James Murphy will be under center.
Yeah, James has done a terrific job. He's a junior now, so this is the junior-senior league. And Steve Verbit used to say it constantly, and it's so true. You watch guys really blossom and take off in their junior and senior years, and he's an example of it. Always a terrific talent, always a terrific kid, but he's just playing his best football. He looks like a different dude, man. It's very impressive to watch his hard work pay off at practice. So we're excited about that. And then, across the board, because we play so many people, we hope to have the deepest team in the Ivy League. We hope to be able to use that depth each week and kind of insulate yourself to the natural injuries that happen. You kind of alluded to whether it was Isaiah Reed or some of the things that happened last year.
Yep.
Our goal as a program is to be deep enough to absorb at least the typical amount of injuries. So football is a very physical and violent sport. So we got to be ready. Next guy up, right? And one of the ways that happens is, we have this many returning starters on offense and defense, but actually we want returning guys who've played, right? And heck, going into week 2, hopefully we put 60, 70 guys on the field this weekend.
And you do have a lot of guys, to your point, that return with playing experience. For instance, you lost a lot up front on the offensive line, be it through graduation, transfer, etc. Yet the names that I'm reading, these are all guys that got reps up front last year. Bo Smith, Charlie Petrosante, guys like Montero and Kai Faucher. And there's a lot of guys up front that played for you on the offensive line because you rotate 10 guys in or thereabouts on any given Saturday.
And that's never going to change, right? It's not like even if you had 3, 4 all Ivy League players on the field, we were always going to rotate them. So those guys know that. They embrace the fact that while we play 5 strong at one time, that's the O-line's catchphrase, right? While that's true, we hope to play 10 in the course of a game.
Right.
So that's an identity thing. And the same thing at wideout. We got a lot of depth at wideout.
Yes, you do.
But they're going to get on the field, and they know it. We're not going to play 3, 4 wideouts. Not in this system. We're going to play 6, 7.
Coach Willie Edwards is excited about his running back room. Obviously, you have the returning Ivy League Rookie of the Year in Matt Childs, but beyond that, Coach Edwards feels like he has a lot of depth behind Matt Childs and some guys that are going to see some significant minutes for you.
Yeah, and, I think they embrace the fact that they feed off each other and compete with each other, and then they get behind each other on game day. It's kind of remarkable. I think some people think nationally you see a lot of craziness going on and people pointing the finger at, one guy and, how much he's getting paid or doing whatever they're doing. Whereas you go into our running back room, you see guys pulling for each other, trying to make each other better, hoping the other guy does well. So Coach Edwards done a fabulous job in his room.
You mentioned wide receivers. Obviously, Ty Pezza, you've got Nesbitt, you've got Solomon Miller, you've got Najai Rahman returning, you got Hill. I mean, you got a lot of targets for Murphy, and as you pointed out, guys that will be rotating in and out for you at that position.
Yep, and it shows at practice. Right now, what they've been able to do, and with some terrific leadership. I mean, even the way a guy like Chasen is seizing his opportunity to be a leader in the way that he's able to be a leader during training camp. I mean, those 4 older guys, Jackson Delaney, have kind of established a culture in the wide receiver room that we better have 6, 7, 8 guys ready to play. And man, what a training camp they've had. It's been very impressive to watch that group.
You look at the defensive side of the football, Coach, and the name that jumps off the page to me because he was really a high-impact player for you last year, and I would expect the same, if not more, out of him this year, is linebacker John Purdue. Yeah,
captain of the team in every form, not just because he was elected captain. I mean, he lives it. He just lives football. He's a great leader. He's actually a brilliant kid on campus and in the classroom. So we're lucky to have him. And we're lucky to have a deep linebacker room. So I think all eyes on the team kind of turn to John in a leadership moment. But, on the field, it's actually a very deep position for us, too.
Yeah, you look at Max Malo, Sam Smith, Stefano Montella. You got guys like Miles Brophy, Nevaeh Gaddis. I mean, there's Ryan Haley, a lot of guys that have logged significant minutes for you that have that experience you're looking for.
Yeah, and playing new positions.
Yep.
I think it's what's fun, circling back to shocking the system, what Dan was able to do is inject some position flexibility into some really talented kids in a way that they've loved being able to do. And you mentioned Nevaeh. He's kind of playing a new position, and he just loves it. We've been able to work with some, hybrid linebackers, hybrid safeties in a way that is really creative and really cool to watch. So those guys have embraced the flexibility that the defense allows them to have, and it'll be fun to see how it looks on Saturday.
What have you seen from your defensive front in practice thus far? Guys like Clarke and Starman and Middleton and Dunn and Odumegu, O'Neal, Fitzgerald, Reddick, etc.
Yeah, it's a deep position. So for us in the secondary, I think everybody gravitates towards Elias, and
Yep.
He's played a ton of football for us. But we got a bunch of guys who it is what it is. They'll be either playing their first game or learning a new system on the fly here. But up front, those guys have played a lot of ball, and they've practiced very, very well. So we're lucky to have at a critical position when you talk about the D-line, games one on the D-line, a great group who's played a lot of football.
Coach, how do you size up the Ivy League last year? I thought last season it was maybe as wide open as I've seen it in a while. Top to bottom, I do not think there was a lot of separation between the teams a year ago. As you look ahead toward this season, what do you think when you look at the other 7 Ivy programs?
Yeah, well, there's no end in sight. It's interesting, Scott, having been in and around it for almost 30 years now. It's not just being played at the highest level that I've seen. So this is the highest level. The NFL data, we just continue to produce so many guys who can play at the highest level. Those are facts,
Yep.
right? It's also the most parity that I can remember at least. So that's not going anywhere. Every team in the league is fully committed to winning. The administrations across the league are showing it, whether it's through facilities or admission support. I mean, it is just a very, very competitive time in the Ivy League right now. And I think it's great, for someone who loves Ivy League football to see that, as opposed to there'd be years, when, 1 or 2 teams would just run away with it. That certainly is not the case, and I don't anticipate that to be the case in 25 either.
I don't think that any conference or any league is immune to, this current day and age that we're in collegiate sports, which is the transfer portal and NIL. Having said that, I feel like as I look across the league and all the returning players for all 8 programs, I feel like the Ivy League is probably as close to immune from it as any other conference, in that I think retention of Ivy League football programs is a lot higher than you see it elsewhere.
I mean, it is goal number 1, having 5 seasons in the books right now. Goal number 1 is to build a roster that loved Brown, that played 4 years, got a Brown degree, just believed in this place. And our attrition levels are so low right now. It's really something to be tremendously proud of. And when I talk about the foundation we've built, that's what I'm talking about. How few of our guys quit the team, how few of the guys transfer from the team. It's almost negligible, which is it speaks to a lot of the support that we get here at Brown. What's going on nationally, just thank heavens you're not part of it.
Yeah.
And I have a brother who is part of it, right? So it is what it is. I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I know this. If you love Brown, you love guys getting a Brown education and doing something that is really, really terrific, which is to play Division I football, we're doing it right. And the proof is just in our roster size, our roster numbers, attrition rates. All that stuff really speaks well to how it's working here at Brown. And then the turnover that's occurring nationally, I guess that's someone else's problem.
Coach, when we kick off the 2025 season Saturday against Georgetown, we'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary of Brown Stadium. And tomorrow morning we are releasing a very special edition of our Brown Bears podcast in both audio and video form. The video will be on the Brown Athletics YouTube page and the audio form wherever people get their podcasts. But I had a chance to sit down at length down at Brown Stadium with Brown sports archivist and historian Peter Mackey, class of 59, and he shared many great memories of the old barn over the last 100 years, many of which he was there for. And we accompanied that with many great pictures, lots of great video, and you were certainly a prominent part of that, Coach. I mean, right now Tim Gear has uploaded on the website, vote on your favorite game in the history of Brown Stadium. There's 10 games, and I'll be honest with you, I voted for the 1998 Brown Penn football game. 58 points. It was a record. 58 points were scored in the fourth quarter alone of that game. If you were there, you knew whoever had the football last was going to win that game. And fortunately for the Bears, you had it last, and you threw a touchdown to Steve Campbell with 10 seconds to go to win it. But just talk to us about your memories of Brown Stadium, particularly as a player.
Oh, I mean, what's really cool for me, that's, like I said, 1996, I'm a freshman. And to watch how alive the stadium still is. You walk in there, it is kind of a 100-year-old Coliseum to football, and what it was like in 1925 would be really cool, I'm sure. But honestly, last year, the support that we got for that Harvard game and how alive and energetic that stadium felt in 2024 is like equally remarkable to me, and I think somebody said, oh, the good old days. I said, well, in the good old days, we never had a crowd like that. I can't remember once in 1999 getting that kind of support and that kind of atmosphere. So we're really appreciative to be able to take the field on Saturday. The place looks incredible. Richard Gauss Field is a great surface to play on. They've done so much in the game day atmosphere. So it's a remarkable historic building, and it's also just super alive and a great place to play in 2025.
You think some of your former teammates like Maury, Campbell, Gessner, Burns would have liked the surface that you play on now? Because I remember that old grass surface, how crowned it was.
Everybody but me.
If you were running it,
the outball because it was a downhill throw.
You liked it, huh?
So,
yeah. But they didn't like the in-cutting routes, like the dig route, right? You're running uphill if you're a wide receiver lined up on the outside.
Yeah, anytime you're on one sideline and you can't see the other sideline, they took the crown too far. So that was always a bit of an advantage. Phil used to talk about advantage Brown, right?
Yes, he did.
Being on grass, and we still do. We still love weather conditions changing and atmospheres changing, but the old we much preferred Richard Gauss Field to the 4-foot crown that we used to play on.
Do you have a particular moment or memory of your time at Brown Stadium as a player or a coach? I know you just shared one as a coach, the Harvard game last year, that really stands out above the rest for you.
Yeah, so, a lot's made my senior year. They did take the field goal post down. That was really a cool thing against, we finished at Columbia at that point. We've flipped the schedule now, but used to be you finished the last game was Columbia, and they took the field goal post down. That was great. But actually, one of my favorite moments is not on that list. Buddy Farnham returned a punt when I was an assistant here, the championship year of 2008, and it won us the game. And I remember it so vividly, and what an unbelievable kid, and what a terrific play it was, and it was against Dartmouth. So that's always stuck in my head as certainly in my 3 years as an assistant, that was my favorite moment.
And by the way, worth mentioning also that they will be honoring the 2005 Ivy League champion Brown Bears at Saturday's Georgetown game. I think Phil's coming down for that. Nick Hardigan, who was a superstar on that team, will be there. I think Jamie Gasparella is another guy. He might have been a captain on that team.
Zach
is going to be back. So it's going to be fun seeing those guys 20 years after they won a championship for Brown.
Yeah, I mean, it's the support across the board is incredible. And that group, I think that's a really special group. There are some guys who on the 05 team won 2 championships.
Yep.
Because then, they'd be young enough that they won in 08 as well. So it's a remarkable group of kids. They'll be back. Like you said, Phil will be back. He spoke to the team beautifully earlier this training camp. So we just have an amazing history. And every year that we get an opportunity to celebrate, a team, in this case 05's 20th, we're pumped. And only the class of 76 would start their celebration a full year ahead. So somehow, even though 76, it's not 26 yet. Somehow they're already talking about celebrating themselves.
James, I got to let you in on something. The 1976 team hasn't stopped celebrating for 49 years. Every time they get together, it's a celebration.
They might jump in with the 05 just to start the 50th off on Saturday as well.
That's great. All right, Coach, very quickly, Georgetown, the opener. They've got 3 games under their belt. I've watched a little of them. Offensively, they're putting some serious points on the board. They're averaging 40 points per game through their first 3 contests. They're 2-1. They did lose their last game to Lafayette. In that game, defensively, they got hit for some pretty big runs by Lafayette. But when you flip on the film with Georgetown, and when you're playing a team that's got 3 games under its belt, and this is your first, how do you prepare? I mean, obviously
honestly,
the same. But
what's crazy is, not to be a prognosticator, but Wagner's an excellent team. I would suggest they're a front runner in their conference, which is the NEC. I mean, you're watching the film, I'm like, Wagner's awesome. And Georgetown beat them and played exceptionally well. And then I think Lafayette is probably the favorite in the Patriot League. Again, the Patriot League is playing a heck of a brand of football right now. And, Georgetown, to me, is – not only did they show that they can be one of the best teams in the Patriot League, it would not surprise me if watching that film, Georgetown won the Patriot League. So you're seeing some really, really good football being played. That game, the film of that game, the score is misrepresented. Their defense played very well. Like you said, they popped a couple big runs. There's some special teams plays mixed in there. And honestly, Lafayette is just a hell of a team. So we know what we're up against. Georgetown was a terrific team last year. I said it at the time. I was right. They went on and had a very good season. And this year they're even better. They are definitely a better team this year. So we know what we're up against.
I can't even imagine how you and your coaches and players feel, because I think I speak for all the Brown football fans either watching us, listening to us, or here at Flatbread with us. I'm chomping at the bit to get this season going. Can't wait for Saturday at noontime, Coach. Thank you for joining us on the show. As always, appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Scott.
All right, that's the head coach of the Bears, James Perry. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, Pezza and Owen Clarke will join us when we continue with the Brown Bears football report with James Perry right after this.
In the air.
2 changes.
2 changes. Isn't that where the dog beds go?
Yeah.
And no matter how perfect things are now, and you don't want them to change,
It'll be fine.
yeah, that's all I'm saying. I told you it'd be fine.
The 3-row luxury TX, because everyone should feel like the center of the universe.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Beisel. As a 3-time Olympic swimmer, I know how important it is to take care of your health. Here in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, we are fortunate to have the team at University Orthopedics taking care of us for all of our orthopedic needs. Whether you are swimming laps or swimming to raise money to cure cancer, their team has you covered. Remember, you don't have to be an Olympic athlete to be cared for like one. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here, University Orthopedics.
The economics of healthcare are what they are. There's a lot of pressure applied to patients from the insurers, from the hospitals, about where they should be receiving their health care. They're torn in a lot of ways. My response to that is, why wouldn't you come to the place that's going to care for you, look after your best interests, and make sure you get the very, very best in health care?
What moves you? Whoever you are, wherever you're headed, physical therapy can take you there. For the morning risers, the super moms, the weekend warriors, High Bar is here to elevate the everyday, so you can feel better, move freely, and live fully. High Bar. So you can.
bosons and quarks, of nanoengineering, Wordsworth, or hip-hop, then look no further than Brown University. If you want to work side by side with extraordinary faculty, to choose from 78 academic majors across the spectrum, or to follow a major of your own design, then expect some of the brightest young minds from around the world to surround and engage you at Brown University. Take it from me. I'm John Krasinski, class of 2001.
Being at an Ivy League school, it certainly is more than possible to be both an exceptional student as well as excel in the sport that you choose to pursue.
I get to sit in a classroom with wrestlers who go compete at a national level, hockey players who are making it to championships. To watch them succeed, at a national level, it's pretty incredible.
I don't think I would be where I'm at if I went anywhere else. It's been really fun for me to just challenge myself and make it to those events and perform and show.
And we welcome you back to the Brown Bears Football Report with James Perry, live from Flatbread Pizza here in Providence. Scott Cordischi with you. This portion of the program brought to you by Bay Coast Bank, the exclusive banking partner of Brown Athletics and Recreation, and a proud community bank that serves the people and businesses of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. As we mentioned, the Bears getting set to open the season Saturday at home against the Georgetown Hoyas. And right now we welcome to the program a senior wide receiver from right here in Little Rhodey from North Kingstown. Ty Pezza is with us. Ty, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for stopping by and joining us. And to your right, we have a senior defensive lineman from not far down the road, Westport, Connecticut, Owen Clarke. Owen, how you doing?
Doing great. Excited for Saturday.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I was just talking to Ty off the air. I mean, you guys got to be ready to hit somebody else, right? I mean, at this point, camp's been a month long, and you're watching college football for the past 3 or 4 weekends. The Ivy League, as we do every year, just starts later than every other conference. Time to play somebody else and hit somebody else?
Yeah, we're very excited. I've been watching these games for the last 3 weeks, grinding in practice, and finally get on the field and really play.
Owen, how's it gone for you? And I'll ask you in particular. Obviously, you got a new defensive coordinator in Coach Mulrooney, and, his energy just kind of drips off of him, if you will. I really like his vibe and the energy that he brings. What's it been like for you as a player working under Coach Mulrooney?
Yeah, it's been great. It's tangible every day at practice. The differences in just the energy that people bring every play, every snap. The sidelines always jump in. It feels like we're in a random base downs period in the middle of August, and it feels like we're playing in the game on the line in practice. There's just so much juice, so much energy. So it's been a great experience.
Ty, you've played in, I think, 28 of a possible 30 games since you arrived on College Hill, now entering your senior year with 10 more to go. But, to Coach Perry's point earlier about the experience that you've gained already as a player, even though guys, we might have 4 starters returning on offense and 5 on defense, that's what the numbers say. We've got many more than that with experience, right? Mm-hmm. And how much does that help?
I think it's huge. Just going back, learning from all the guys that were above us, Wes and Graham and Mark, the past few years, seeing how they play, how they, hold themselves in different situations has been great. Getting experience in each aspect of the game before, sort of coming on my senior year and taking a bigger role has been very important. I think it's going to lead to a good year for us.
Oh, and same thing for you. The last 2 years, I think you played in all 20 games, right?
Yeah.
So, you're a guy that brings a ton of experience to the table as you enter your senior year. Talk to us about, the defensive front and the guys you're playing alongside and what you guys think you can do and hope to accomplish this season.
Yeah, I think we can be incredibly disruptive. The group as a whole is really deep, 3 guys deep at each position, and there's a ton of talent. Guys fly off the ball, and it's really exciting to see. It gets old playing against the same guys every day, especially your teammates. So we're really excited to play against a different team and see what we can do.
Ty, you finished the season strongly last year. Am I correct in saying you had touchdowns against both Columbia and Dartmouth?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, how much of that was you maybe just getting more comfortable with the more reps you were getting? And, were you able to carry that into the off season and whenever you did in terms of workouts? And do you hope to carry that into the start of 2025?
Definitely, yeah. I think sort of just those last few games just built some confidence, making impacts in these games, and I think just that sort of confidence carried through the winter and spring, having a little more swagger, a little more confidence in everything I'm doing. Definitely confident going into the year, excited to get back out there and hopefully continue that streak. So,
Owen, one thing Coach Mulrooney has said he really wants to do, and I think it's been a point of emphasis with you guys, is eliminate the explosive plays, right? And I think we may have led all of FCS football in explosive plays allowed last year, and that's something that I think he wants to try to. You're not going to completely eliminate it, but reduce significantly, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to, doing your job, understanding what your job is, and tackling. I mean, you got to be able to tackle. It's the core of football. It's what it is, and if you do your job and you tackle, you'll eliminate a lot of those explosive plays.
So from your position, like, how do you balance, okay, there's downs when it's obvious passing downs where you're pinning your ears back and you're trying to get after the quarterback. There's other downs where maybe you're not so certain, right? Could be run, could be pass. How do you balance your responsibility of being one of those wreckers up front, trying to put immediate pressure on a quarterback, but at the same time maintaining your gap responsibilities or whatever you need to do in the running game?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, like falling back on your, key, like fundamentals, the things you do every day in practice. For me, it's, having my key, the first thing I read off the ball, and that's how I run pass. And then it's, it's tackle blocking down. Am I crashing? Am I spilling? Am I sitting? Am I boxing? So I think it's just reacting, and, we work it every day in practice, and it becomes muscle memory. And from there, everything else just becomes a lot easier. So I think it really just is just your base fundamentals and relying on them and trusting them.
Ty, you're going to have a new quarterback spinning it to you guys this year, James Murphy. We saw him some last year, so it's not like we're, completely unaware of his ability. He's got a strong arm.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your rapport is like with James on the field, off the field. Did you guys spend time at all during the summer working out together? Like, what's your rapport like with James Murphy, our quarterback?
I think it's great. I mean, as we've talked about, we have some new things going on in offense. And that's definitely taken some time to sort of get used to with the receivers and the quarterbacks. So all winter, all spring, obviously we got a lot of reps. This summer, most of us were up here at least for some point. So we did 7-on-7s. We really worked on timing and different spacing of some of these new routes, along with just, over the last couple of years that I'm with him has been great. So, we're excited.
I asked that question because I don't know if you're from North Kingstown. Are you a Patriots fan? No?
I'm actually not a
Okay,
Patriots
no, that's
fan.
fine. But
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Okay,
Boston fan.
all right. Who's your NFL team?
The Texans.
The Texans, okay.
Yeah.
Now, how'd you come to gravitate toward the Houston Texans?
Go back maybe 12, 13 years, drafted Aaron Foster in fantasy football, and I've just been a fan since.
Okay. See,
Boston through otherwise.
There's always a reason. The reason I bring up how's your rapport with James Murphy is I always felt like one of the keys to Tom Brady's success was he would spend a lot of time working during the offseason. He'd take his receivers to, like, his ranch in Montana during the summer and be throwing, routes on air to them. And like, I just felt like they developed that chemistry to the point where, like, Brady knew where they were going to be and they knew where Brady was going to throw it. So there was, like, very little left to question, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, again, obviously, there's certain times in the year when it's hard to throw with him, but, all summer we were throwing. There was even one time I was going with my brother's bachelor trip in New Hampshire, and I stopped in Reading, Mass. At his high school, and we threw for like an hour at like 7 p.m. into the dark, which is nice.
Nice.
Got some time there. So, we've thrown a lot. Timing is definitely pretty good. And, again, hopefully it sticks up.
I want to ask about your position coaches. So Phil DeCapito is your position coach, right?
Yep.
What's it like playing for Coach DeCapito?
It's incredible. He brings a ton of knowledge to the position group. He always knows the answer. And he's on really good terms with the DC. He understands the defense incredibly, and he's also been a great motivator. He stays in touch with everybody. He builds a relationship with the whole room, and it's been a great experience. He's been really motivating. It's not like he's your friend, but it's also not like he's some boss that's down your throat. It's a good relationship. He puts his trust in us, and we put our trust in him. So it's been great.
And a change at your position this year, Coach Briner, right, who brings some head coaching experience here to Brown. Yep. What's it been like playing for Coach Briner?
It's been great. We had Coach Perry in the spring for those few weeks of spring ball, which is a lot of fun. And then we were kind of unsure who was coming in, and then we met Briner this summer. Came with a ton of experience, worked at a ton of different places, obviously with some great teams. And he just brought a ton of, again, like Owen was saying with Coach Cap, ton of knowledge. Great mentality, and he's also really let us sort of, be our own players and fit into the offense how we can as players, which has been great.
All right, without giving away game plans, as John Anderson likes to say, right? I want to hear your Lexus of Warwick keys to the game, if you will. Like, what do the Brown Bears have to do Saturday to start the season 1-0 on the right foot with a win over Georgetown.
Yeah, I mean, I might be biased here, but I think we're going to have to get after the quarterback. And I think we have a ton of talent in the D-line room, and I think, we'll do our jobs on first and second down, then on third down, we'll pin our ears back and get after them.
Ty, how about you?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about, at least in the receiver room, controlling the controllables in this first game. Like, Georgetown has 3 games under their belt, so we need to do what we can to not have those first game hiccups. Good ball security, no mental errors, lining up the right way, and then, again, as a receiver, we got to make some plays.
All right, you guys are both seniors. I'm curious, what's your concentration? What will you be graduating with degrees in? Owen?
International and Public Affairs Security.
Ty?
I'm doing computer science and ATMA econ.
Have you had a chance to have any types of internships or jobs, related to your concentrations? And I'm curious, do you know what comes next after graduation? Not that you have to worry about it now, and I know you're thinking about Georgetown this Saturday, but what comes next after you graduate and walk through those Van Wickle gates in May?
That's a great question. I was able to go to use the Brown Spark program this summer to visit, a bunch of alumni, and a lot of people were in the defense industry, which is something I'm interested in. So I went down to DC and I got to, intern and shadow some companies for a few days. So that was great. When it comes to exactly what I'm going to be doing next year, I'm not sure, but I hope it's with a ring on my finger.
Do you hope it's something? Do you have an idea of what you want to do?
Yeah, I think something in the defense industry is would be awesome.
That sounds cool. How about you, Ty?
Yeah, I interned this past summer in commercial real estate, more on the finance side of my degree. Moving forward, I'm still figuring it out, applying to kind of both sides of what I've done so far in school. So excited to see what comes.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck to both of you and the team on Saturday against the Hoyas.
Thank you.
All right, Owen, Clarke, Ty, Pezza, our guest here on the Brown Bears Football Report with James Perry. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, some members of the Brown Field Hockey program will join us when we continue from Flatbread Pizza right after this.
For well over a century, the
Hey, Paul, I have a 16-inch water main break. Can you help me out?
Yeah, no problem.
On jobs large and small, only FW Web has the selection, in-stock inventory, and 24-hour emergency service to get the job done. For more than 150 years, we believe having what you need, when and where you need it, matters. At FW Web, we've got it.
Wouldn't it be great to work with a bank that cares about you? A bank that knows you and your family.
How may I help you today?
A bank offering a solution center with real people answering your phone calls. A bank with interactive teller machines, staffed by local personal bankers who are available beyond regular business hours. A bank that speaks your language. That bank is Bay Coast Bank, and we're here to help you. Visit us in person or scan the code to open your account today.
Hey guys, there's something I want to talk to you about. There's a change in the air.
2 changes.
2 changes. Isn't that where the dog beds go?
Yeah.
And no matter how perfect things are now, and you don't want them to change,
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I told you it'd be fine.
The 3-row luxury TX, because everyone should feel like the center of the universe.
We are the change makers, the rebels, the champions. To be a bear is to possess brains and brawn. To be a bear is to have an insatiable hunger to win, in sports and in life. We are indomitable, unshakable, and unstoppable. We don't just play the game, we change it. Our style is not for everyone. We buck the status quo, we push the boundaries, we think and play outside the box. We are innovators, trailblazers, and leaders. We take our work seriously with unparalleled focus, unmatched humility, and unequaled joy. We are an uplifting community that empowers self-discovery in a way that makes everyone better. All on a campus that exhibits an inspiring spirit of creativity and collaboration. We are the Brown Bears. Ever reaching, ever curious, ever resilient, ever true. Together, we roar.
Hey guys, there's something I want to talk to you about. There's a change in the air.
2 changes.
2 changes. Isn't that where the dog beds go?
Yeah.
And no matter how perfect things are now, and you don't want them to change,
It'll be fine.
yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I told you it'd be fine.
The 3-row luxury TX, because everyone should feel like the center of the universe.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Beisel. As a 3-time Olympic swimmer, I know how important it is to take care of your health. Here in Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, we are fortunate to have the team at University Orthopedics
in your neighborhood. Well, as we mentioned, the Brown football team opens up its season on Saturday, and our Brown field hockey team will play its Ivy opener in a huge one on Saturday at Goldberger Family Field when they host the Yale Bulldogs. And joining us right now is the head coach of the Bears, Britt Broady. Britt, how are you?
I'm doing really well.
Well,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for stopping by, and you brought 2 of your student athletes. To my immediate right, we have a senior from Westwood, Massachusetts, Lexi Pellegrino. Lexi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. And to your right, we have a freshman from New Canaan, Connecticut, Grace Almeida. Grace, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you all for stopping by. And, Coach, congratulations on first victory of the season this past weekend. 1-2 to start the season, 2 strong showings against 2 ranked teams on the road before you picked up that first win here on Sunday. I know you weren't happy with the results, but at the same time, some good things happened in those 2 games against UMass and UConn.
Really good things happened in those games. Super happy with the performance. This is the best hockey I've seen in my time here at Brown. I don't think our record reflects how good we are. A couple ball bounces one other direction and we win against number 11, or this and that, really small margins between win and loss. And so I'm really, really pleased. I'm excited to play Yale. They are number 18 in this week's poll, and they're obviously an Ivy League foe that we always have a great battle with. The last 2 games, I think they've both gone into double overtime, and we're expecting that again this year, actually.
Yeah, look at the start that they're off to, Coach. They are averaging out shooting their opponents 30-9 per game and 14-5 shots on goal. So they're really putting a lot of pressure on opposing defenses and goalkeepers.
Yep. Well, we have a great defense and goalkeeper ready to go, so we're ready for it.
Well, Coach talks about a bounce here or there, and maybe things turn out differently against UMass or UConn. And one of the things she told me before Sunday's game was, I want to stop hitting posts. I want to get the, just inside the post. And lo and behold, what happens, Lexi? You hit the post. That's the bad news. The good news is you were there to pounce on the juicy rebound and put it home for the lone game-winning goal on Sunday. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But I guess just talk to us about that. First of all, it was a great feat from Lucy to kind of set you in.
Yeah, it was a really great pass. A lot of pressure. I tried to get a quick shot off. Ended up hitting the post, but all I could do was dive for the rebound, and it went in, so we'll take it.
Coach, none of you are old enough to remember this. And I was even kind of young, but back in the 70s, there was a guy who used to play for the Boston Bruins by Phil Esposito. And he was just an immovable force in front of the net. He would pounce on rebounds and score goal after goal after goal. And there was a bumper sticker that a lot of people had on their car. You remember the Jesus Saves bumper sticker? Yeah. So it said Jesus saves, but Esposito scores on the rebound. So maybe we should have one that says Pellegrino scores on the rebound. How's that?
That sounds good to me.
I will take the goals however they come. Yeah. They all count the same. I tell the team whether they're a beautiful shot, a rebound, the ugliest thing ever. If it crosses the line, we will take it and jog back up to the 50.
Grace, your first year with the program. You come to us from New Canaan, Connecticut. You played in the NEPSAC at Green Farms Academy, correct? Mm-hmm. Tell us how you wound up here at Brown. What made this university and, more importantly, this program the right fit for you?
Well, Brown was one of the only schools that I went to all the camps. I met Britt, and I loved her immediately. She's definitely the reason why I honed, it was one of the top schools that I loved. And then meeting the team over the years, the team chemistry is amazing, and think it was the best decision of my life.
You know, Lex, I look at you, you're a senior. It's year 4 for Coach Broady, and I love the way she has built this program. There has been a steady progression over the last 4 years. You guys were in the Ivy tournament last year, lost in overtime to Harvard. But my point is you've been here every step of the way, you know, and you've been one of those key cogs. 26, I think, career goals, if my math is correct. But, you know, you and Lucy, you've been here from the beginning with Coach Broady. Can you talk to us what this process has been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was really exciting coming in freshman year, knowing that the program was going to kind of change directions, and just excited to, you know, jump on that. And then looking back, it is really cool to see how each year we have, you know, gotten more wins and felt more success. And it's just really exciting for this year to keep growing on that and really just like having faith in, you know, the class that came in and the strength of our team. So it's, you know, we all have a lot of faith in Britt and are really excited to just keep growing.
I mean, if I could explain it in simple terms, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I feel like maybe at the beginning you go from hoping to win to now the expectation is we're going to win.
Absolutely. We talk about that a lot in practice. When I first got here, it was very much underdog mentality. Like, they expect nothing from us. Let's show them. And now we are going into games expecting to win, knowing that we can win. And that's just a really exciting change to be a part of. And in 3 years, it's really impressive to be able to have that kind of change of mentality. And I think we've done a good job at growing into that.
Britt, you talked about Yale and how, you know, good they are, and the Ivy League is very strong. I mean, I would put the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Ivy League, 3 best field hockey conferences by far, are they not?
Correct.
Right? Because you've got 3 ranked teams in Harvard, Princeton, and Yale right now. This is a tough conference, but you know that, and you made it through last year to the Ivy tournament, and you were picked in the preseason poll to finish 3rd. So, you know, you have been able to raise that bar. You have the expectations where you want them. I'm sure you want them even higher. But can you talk to us about what it has been like for you as a coach, the process to build this program to now where it's one that expects to win?
Wow. That's a big question, Scott. You know, I think I really enjoy coaching potential. And I enjoyed coaching the first couple teams that had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Lexi's absolutely right with the underdog mentality. I think that has a lot to do with energy and you know, player development and these steps forward. I think now the steps are smaller and they're harder to make because we're very close to the top and we're aware of that. And so we talk about critical moments in games, and we talk about that winning is a skill.
Yep.
And that's one of the spaces that we're growing in this year. And I think just each year has been, we do a great job of staying in the present and not looking back and not looking forward. But at the same time, I think we've had a different set of goals each year, and they've been appropriate for that squad. And so that's where I say I really like coaching the potential, because I think this is a team that could do some damage. It does not matter who we are playing. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah. And Grace, you know, we lost a lot of talented seniors to graduation last year, yet we brought in a very talented freshman class, of which you are a part of. You know, our goalkeeper, Ellie Parker, is part of that freshman class. But just talk about your class. The freshman class this year, the class of, is it 2029? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
And the talent that it contains.
I mean, it's really special. I think coming in as a freshman, you're not expecting to play as much, and you feel like an underdog, as like to use Lexi's terms. But I think it's really special that we all kind of like took that and like raised the bar and kind of knew that we all had the potential to make an impact on this team. And I think it's really impressive. Like, Ellie is starting and doing incredible. She was already named like a top goalkeeper of the week. And then you have Emily starting and Sophia. Like, they're all making an impact. I think it's really special. And then in practice, like it comes with the team, from the team. Like, our seniors, juniors, and sophomores are all making it so much easier for the freshmen to kind of step up and not feel like we're a lot younger. And like it comes from everybody. But I think it is really special coming in as like such a good class.
Coach, as the wins increase, have you found that the reception to Brown field hockey when you're out on the recruiting trail has been better?
Certainly.
Year after year?
Absolutely. I think the top talent across the country and across the globe, to be frank, they're now considering Brown in their top tier from the start. And I think in the past it's been selling our vision going forward, and now that vision is where we are. And so who wants to be a part of this program that's going to play at a high level, that continues to play or aspires to play at an even higher level and win Ivy League championships and stay in the top 20? And like I said, make those marginal steps. Those are the folks that we're talking to now.
Lexi, last year your team led the nation in penalty corners drawn per game. I think you out-cornered your opponents in the first two on the road. That was not the case against Fairfield on Saturday. I guess from your perspective, why maybe didn't that happen, and how do you get back to that formula that's been worked so well for Brown, drawing all those penalty corners, which oftentimes result in great scoring chances?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I feel like this year maybe we need to be a little bit more focused on getting outcomes in the circle. I feel like we are doing a much better job at getting a lot of quick shots and shots that are resulting in goals. But in terms of just less corners overall, I think we could definitely be focused more on just trying to get a result every time we enter the circle. But overall, I have been really happy with the way that the offensive unit has been able to just take really quick shots. That's kind of a space that we are growing into and wasn't always the case. We have almost every single forward willing to just enter the circle and rip a shot, which in the past there's been, people who are more pressing focused or attacking focused, but now everybody kind of is diversifying their skills, which is really exciting to see. I mean,
you're a goal scorer, as I mentioned, 26 goals in 3+ seasons. I figure like 10, 8, 7, 1 to start this year.
Yeah.
There's got to be, obviously position dictates, I think, who gets the opportunities, number one, but you have to take advantage of those opportunities, and you do. Talk to us about, I guess, the art of putting the ball in the back of the cage, if you will, and who helps you, what teammates help you do that.
Yeah, I think, obviously, like Lucy and MK are really great distributors, passers, outside mids, Juliet, Alex, Zoe. I feel like I get a lot of passes from them. And then in terms of just putting in the net, I feel like the more shots you take, the more likely one of them is to go in. So I really just try to focus on, if I'm in the circle, just ripping a shot and being ready for a rebound. One of the things that I really focus on is just one-timing the ball and trying to catch the goalies off guard as quickly as possible. And then also a focus for me this year has been hitting on corners, just making sure that every single ball is on net and trying to get results there. And I'm happy with the improvement there. So, yeah.
Coach, Grace, more of a midfielder, defender?
I feel as though we could put Grace pretty much anywhere on the field other than maybe in the pads. We're not, Ellie and Kylie wouldn't be so psyched about that, and I don't think Grace's parents would either. No. So, no, Grace is a great possession, and she's really great at possession of the ball, and so her distribution skills, played center mid in high school, and even for your club, Grace, we were joking the other day, you played some backfield, played some front field. So you're going to see her through the midfield this weekend. She's already been playing up at the front line in the past. So, yeah, we're gonna try to throw a little curveball.
What are the two of you, well, for you, I'd really like to know, because this is it for you. What are you concentrating in?
I'm studying sociology.
And do you know what you want to do after graduation?
Oh, boy. Trying to figure it out, definitely. I'm really interested in business and consulting, so applying absolutely everywhere, so we'll see where that takes me.
Do you ever, could you envision yourself somehow, some way staying involved in the sport? Playing it recreationally, coaching it at a youth level, high school level, collegiate level?
Yeah, I definitely would want to stay involved playing pickup. I know some Brown alums have a pickup league going in Boston, so if I find myself there, I definitely would join that. As far as coaching goes, I would love to coach like little kids. I don't know about my ability to coach anything older than middle schoolers, but we'll see how that goes.
I know you have your full senior year ahead of you, but
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this question anyway. What will you miss most about your Brown experience? It can be athletically, it can be academically, it can be socially. What are you going to miss the most?
I think the thing that I'll miss the most is just like being part of a team and having 25 of my best friends living so close to each other. It's so fun, just being able to hang out all the time whenever you want, and being a part of a team as supportive as this one is. It's pretty rare, so I will definitely miss that.
Grace, I don't think you have to declare until what, second semester, sophomore year?
I believe
Do you
so, yeah.
know what you want to concentrate on, or are you kind of up in the air?
I've decided, I think, to do business economics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you taking it? You taking like Engine 9 or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm in Engine 9.
There you go.
Yep.
Is Professor Hazeltine still involved with the class?
I think so. We haven't seen him yet, but
okay, he's the best.
Heard his name a few times.
He is a Brown University
best.
institution.
I need to meet him.
He is the best. Coach, back-to-back games this weekend. Saturday Yale, Sunday Stonehill. I guess talk about that challenge. It's not often you play back-to-back. Oftentimes you play Friday, Sunday, but not Saturday, Sunday, and that will be the case this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we're just focused on Saturday, to be perfectly honest.
Yep.
It's a conference. It is a ranked opponent, and Saturday night, then we will be focused on Stonehill after that.
So all eggs are in the Yale basket right now.
That's right. Yeah, we're not holding anything back.
Well, good luck to all three of you this weekend. I'm sorry I will not be there Saturday, but I promise you I will be there on Sunday, and I'm hoping to be talking on the air about how the Bears defeated the Yale Bulldogs in their Ivy opener on Saturday.
Yep.
That is the plan.
Coach, thank you.
Thank
Girls,
you.
thank you.
Thanks so much, Scott.
All
Really
right.
appreciate your support.
Folks, that is going to do it for this edition of the Brown Bears Football Report with James Perry. My thanks to Britt, Broady, Lexi, Pellegrino, and Grace Almeida for joining us. And thank you all for joining us here at Flatbread Pizza. We'll be back again next week with another edition of the show. Until then, for the head coach of the Bears, James Perry, my name is Scott Cordischi. Thanks for joining us, everybody.